Edgar Rice Burroughs sits surrounded by the library that built a literary empire. By the early 1930s, his creation, Tarzan of the Apes, was an undisputed global phenomenon of the printed page. Yet for all its success in print, the character lacked a definitive human form. Early silent films had tried to capture the Lord of the Jungle, but none had provided an image that lasted in the public consciousness. The central problem for the film industry was one of physics. Translating the dense jungle canopy to the screen required natural, fluid movement that seemed impossible to replicate on a studio lot. Traditional Hollywood actors of the era looked awkward and stiff when attempting the necessary stunts, making the wild athleticism described by Burroughs appear clumsy. Without a physical prototype capable of making the impossible look natural, Tarzan remained trapped as a literary myth. That stalemate broke when Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer bypassed the traditional casting system entirely. The studio took a gamble unthinkable for a standard production. They looked past the acting guilds and cast Johnny Weissmuller, a man who had never performed a day in his life. What Weissmuller lacked in theatrical training, he possessed in raw physical category. As seen in this archival shot from the 1924 Paris Games, he was a world-class competitor who had already secured 5 Olympic gold medals. He was already a global superstar on the scale of this massive Olympic stadium long before he ever set foot on a film set. Sitting casually by the pool in this studio portrait, Weissmuller displayed the fluid, unforced grace MGM believed was necessary to navigate the jungle canopy convincingly. By prioritizing world-class athletics over traditional acting experience, the studio challenged the era's perception of how a physical lead was expected to move. In this production, raw movement took precedence over dramatic dialogue. When Weissmuller entered the studio-built jungle, he navigated the canopy with a speed and confidence that matched this point-of-view perspective. He replaced the stiff, staged stunt work of earlier adventure films with a gliding momentum that looked entirely instinctual. For the first time, audiences saw an unprecedented level of athletic expression on screen that made the character's environment feel dangerous and real. This physical performance made the gravity-defying physics of the jungle look effortless, effectively grounding the myth in reality. Beyond the stunts, the film benefited from the freedom of the pre-code Hollywood era, seen here in this view over Grauman's Chinese theater. This era allowed for an instinctual chemistry between Tarzan and Maureen O'Sullivan's Jane Parker, emphasizing a raw, human element often missing from earlier adaptations. Without the weight of strict industry censorship, the film explored a wilder, more immediate contrast between rigid civilization and pure survival. To maintain this primal energy, the filmmakers stripped away the complex dialogue found in the original novels. Replacing long speeches with minimalist, intensely expressive dialogue created a much more powerful on-screen presence. By removing the literary vocabulary, the production deepened the character's universal emotional resonance and established his enduring on-screen identity. The final element to pull the character together was an invention that didn't rely on sight at all. This trilling waveform represents the creation of Weissmuller's battle cry. This specific sonic signature became an instant cultural trademark, cutting through the standard sound design of the 1930s. It finalized the character's identity, allowing the Tarzan myth to travel beyond the theater and into radio, comic strips, and decades of future media. The result was a massive box office triumph, filling theaters like this one with audiences who finally had a definitive face for the character. This success launched a franchise that would see Weissmuller lead 12 consecutive films. Looking back, the film succeeded because it aligned a specific physical talent with the unique creative freedoms of its time. While many actors followed in his footsteps, this fusion of athletic history and cinematic instinct built the immortal pop culture icon we recognize today. This was brought to you by Stalls or Sturkle. Thank you for listening.